Hello, I'm Bill, I think. Yeah, I'm making a YouTube movie tonight, anyway. Anyway, I was talking about Star Trek at some point. I've been watching Star Trek Odyssey. So I've been watching the Star Trek Odyssey, and I've been watching Star Trek Helena. They're fantastic, man. Sorry, am I supposed to be critical here? They are fantastic. I've been watching Star Trek Helena, and I have been watching Star Trek Odyssey. And I think both those series are fantastic. Then I got to series 3. The Odyssey and the Helena join up. An absolutely wonderful story. Rob Caves, you are absolutely amazing. You are doing an amazing job with Star Trek, Rob. Yeah, I've only just found out about him. Rob Caves. This Star Trek is fantastic. I am really enjoying the stories, man. I am really fucking enjoying the story. You know, you've got Helena, you've got Odyssey. We've also got Star Trek Phase 2, which is being done by... who does Star Trek Phase 2? I can't remember offhand. I've been watching Star Trek Phase 2, and it's fucking fantastic. Excellent, because it actually does the fourth series of Star Trek. I can't remember the fucker's name now. Who does Star Trek Phase 2? Anyway, it's excellent. It's really cool because it carries on the stories. And they've got an excellent Burns, excellent Dr. McCoy in Star Trek Phase 2, which carries on from the original series, you see. So there's Star Trek Phase 2, which carries on from the original series. And then there's Star Trek Helena and Star Trek, oh God, what's it called? Odyssey. But the thing is, the point is, the stories are fucking excellent. The acting is really good. So the acting is really good. The stories are excellent. Okay, I mean, the special effects for the ships is fantastic. You know, it'd be nice to have enough money to buy real sets, obviously, but they're doing an excellent job with Helena and with the Odyssey. And I'm well impressed. I'm fucking absolutely impressed with Star Trek Helena. And I'm fucking impressed with Star Trek Odyssey. What a wonderful storyline, man. 2 storylines and then they join up. Absolutely fantastic. You keep Star Trek alive, man. You are keeping Star Trek alive. Because it's after Deep Space Nine, isn't it? That's sort of like after Deep Space Nine. You are, I know the effects, you know, if we had millions and billions of quid like Hollywood, they could make the effects even better. But you are doing a wonderful job with Star Trek Helena. And you are doing a wonderful job with Star Trek Odyssey. And Star Trek Phase 2. And you have my complete and utter fucking dedication. You never know, one day you might make some money. You know what I mean? But the acting's good. The script is fantastic. Ships are great. I don't want a remake of Star Trek. Get my drift? We are drifting now, aren't we? I don't want a remake of Star Trek. I want the future. And in God's honest opinion, Star Trek Helena, Star Trek Odyssey, you have my opinion. And I think that is the most amazing Star Trek I have seen since Deep Space Nine. The acting is spot on, characters are wonderful. It's great fun. Watch Star Trek Odyssey and Star Trek Helena. Okay? And Star Trek Phase 2. I'm with you guys. And your McCoy was really, really good. I love your Dr. McCoy in Star Trek Phase 2. But I had a few more ideas as well. It's on another film, but on this one as well. You know how at the end of Deep Space Nine, have you watched my resurrection of Captain Kirk? You know how to resurrect William Shatner. It was caught under a bridge, and I said, it's on one of my channels. But you know the holographic doctor from Voyager. She had a great idea. The script is on one of these films. I'm not going to read it out now. But I had a great idea to resurrect Captain Kirk. I thought, you know how Captain Kirk was trapped onto the bridge? What I would do was I would get the holographic to resurrect Jim Kirk, you see, because in the future, I've never told the story of Star Trek Relativity. Let me give you a brief outline of my stories, of my ideas, basically. Star Trek Relativity. Have you ever heard of Star Trek Relativity? About the future Star Trek? Oh, here's an idea I had. What I thought was, you know how when Star Trek Relativity was actually in Voyager, wasn't it? You know how the mission is to protect time, not to destroy it. So with Star Trek Relativity, I did a show. Well, I've made a script sort of thing called Star Trek Resurrection. Star Trek Resurrection. And what actually basically happens, I won't read the whole story, but I'll tell you what actually happens. In Star Trek Resurrections, what happens is the Temporal Prime Directive comes into play, right? And the, what's it called? The relativity, the Starship Relativity, arrives at a specific point in time after Captain Kirk got killed, you see. Because Captain Kirk was killed in Star Trek Generations, wasn't he? Well, basically, he fell off the bridge, didn't he? Captain Kirk, Bill Shatner, so Bill Shatner, he was crushed under the bridge, right? He was crushed to death, sort of thing, under this bridge, this iron bridge in Star Trek Generations. So what happens in my Star Trek, well, my idea, is that the Starship Relativity travels backwards in time, and actually they resurrect. They bring the dead body of Captain Kirk, Bill Shatner. They bring the dead body onto the Starship Relativity, and the holographic Doctor, who's an emergency medical hologram, is still about 500 years. You know, the emergency medical hologram. What he does is uses Borg nanoprobes. He uses Borg nanoprobes. A trick he learnt from Seven of Nine in Voyager. Because in Star Trek Voyager, Neelix died, didn't he? So in Star Trek Voyager, Neelix died. So the holographic Doctor used Borg implants, Borg nanobites from Seven of Nine, and he resurrected Neelix in Star Trek Voyager. So he brought Neelix back to life in Star Trek Voyager. So I'm saying he uses a similar method on Captain Kirk, right? And then he brings Captain Kirk back to life. Anyway, the stories on resurrections. You know, the stories on resurrections, Star Trek Resurrections, it's on this channel. But anyway, I'm talking about these movies, you know, Star Trek, what's it called? Odyssey and Star Trek Helena, which I think are both fantastic series. The acting is very, very good. The acting is amazing. I'm enjoying it. The makeup's great. It's pretty cool. It's a fucking cool show. I like Star Trek Helena and I love Star Trek Odyssey because they join together, sort of thing. But anyway, a few more ideas. So I said, sort of like, what I do is I bring Captain Kirk, Bill Shatner back to life in Star Trek Resurrections. Well, the holographic Doctor brings him back because he uses Borg nanoprobes to reverse the cellular necrosis. And then Spock's on the bridge, and I'll tell you the story. Well, it's on Star Trek Resurrections, if you want that sort of. Anyway, I had a few more ideas. You know how at the end of Deep Space Nine, yeah? You know at the end of Deep Space Nine, Ben Sisko got taken by the prophets, didn't he? I said, you know, well, you know, Ro Laren vanished for 6 months. I said Ro Laren vanished for 6 months. Let's say at the end of Deep Space Nine, right? Ben Sisko gets taken by the prophets, you know, Avery Brooks. So he got taken by the prophets in the end of Deep Space Nine. So let's say it's 20 years after Deep Space Nine, right? 20 years. This is Star Trek. This is the idea for Star Trek. Now, she's still about, I hope. Right, it's 20 years after Deep Space Nine. Right, one more time. Let's slow that down a bit. There we go. No, that's all right. Oh, delayed reaction. Up a bit. Oh. Loading up my barber. Down a bit. Oh, cut off my ears. Sorry about that. No. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, it's like 20 years after Deep Space Nine. Bejor is in peace. And Captain Kira is the commanding officer of Deep Space Nine now, right? 20 years later, right? 20 years later, after Deep Space Nine. And Captain Kira is now the captain of Deep Space Nine, the commander of Deep Space Nine. And then she goes into the orb of time, or one of the orbs. No, she actually gets a vision. Captain Kira, Nana Visitor. Captain Kira gets a vision from Avery Brooks and Sisko. So Captain Kira gets a vision from Ben Sisko, who is now living with the Prophet. Ben Sisko is living with the Prophet at this time. It's 20 years later, like a genie in the lamp. Ever heard of the genie in the lamp? This is 20 years after Deep Space Nine, right? Captain Kira gets a vision from Ben Sisko, telling her that the only way to get Ben Sisko back is to put all the lost orbs of Bajor together. Right? So Captain Kira gets a vision. It's 20 years later, and Captain Kira gets a vision from Ben Sisko, telling her that it's time to come home. And to do that, Captain Kira has to find the lost orbs of Bajor. Right? So what happens is that Captain Kira gets a ship. It's a ship called the Star. I mean, she explains the problem to Starfleet that they will get Ben. She wants to get Ben Sisko back. Just goes to Starfleet and says, "Look, man, I need a ship. I've got to find the lost orbs of Bajor in order to find Ben Sisko." Over books like. So Starfleet, Captain Kira, a ship called the Excalibur, right? Starfleet gives Captain Kira a ship called the Excalibur. And then Captain Kira, with whatever crew she chooses, you know what I mean? Might have a view from DS9 or whatever on it. But Captain Kira gets a ship called the Excalibur, see? And she's got to go in search of the universe to find the lost orbs of Bajor. So in order to find the lost orbs of Bajor, Captain Kira has a ship called the Excalibur. And what she has to do is go and find the lost orbs of Bajor in order to get Captain Sisko back, you see. Like there's the orb of time, or the orb of hope, or the orb of victory, or the orb of defeat, the orb of love, the orb of hate, the orb of deceit. There could be 100 orbs to find. There might be 100 orbs to find, right? But the only way to get Captain Sisko back is to find all the orbs, right? The only way to get Captain Sisko back is to find all the orbs of Bajor. So Captain Sisko gets given the Excalibur, and she has to search the galaxies to find the lost orbs of Bajor. And when she finds an orb, she could have a really psychedelic episode. Like, for instance, if it's the orb of hate, it'd be a real fighting episode. If it's the orb of love, it'd be a romantic episode. If it's the orb of truth, it would be an honest episode. You know, she could have 100 orbs to find, you know. You know, she's got 100 orbs to find, but every time she finds an orb, she has and the whole crew has a really psychedelic experience. And in a way, what you do is she gets all the 100 orbs, and she's got to find the 100 orbs in order to get Ben Sisko back, you see. Anyway, that's Star Trek Excalibur, you know, use your imagination. And I had another idea, was Star Trek Borg Assimilation Earth. I had another Star Trek idea, Borg Assimilation Earth. And what I figured what you could do is like, do you remember in Voyager, in Star Trek Voyager, the Borg had a virus, didn't they? So the Borg had a virus in Star Trek Voyager that they were going to release onto planet Earth to turn everybody into Borg drones. I mean, to turn everybody into Borg drones. Well, imagine if the Borg had released that virus. Ever so slowly, people start turning into computers. They throw away televisions, and they buy computerized television. And then they hook up to their computers, and very slowly the human race kind of like turns into Borg. The reality like turns into Borg, and like they get Borg gadgets appearing on their hands and on their arms. Very, very slowly, like turning into Borg without them being realized. You know, about time. Maybe it's about time. Maybe it's about time. That's strange. But so people start turning robotic, and they start getting really stupid, and I'll do what I'm told to do, I'll live the way you want me to. And over a period of time, because the Borg virus is very slow, they start really people start stopping to think. They stop thinking. So basically, like, people stop thinking for themselves. And they start to do exactly what they're told to do, kind of thing, like Borg virus. And these sort of Borg implants are appearing in their bodies, you know, mind control, and all these Borg implants start appearing in their bodies. But I leave the experts, I leave you guys out there. So I leave that to you guys out. Leave the story to the experts, alright? But anyway, what happens in the Borg station Earth? You know, like everyone gets computerized and turns into a computer kind of thing. I've still got my videos, but including me. Well, I'm infiltrated. Anyway, yes, and I tell you what, because Captain Picard was immune to the Borg virus, you see, we would be immune to Captain Picard. She assimilated by the Borg. Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard, was assimilated by the Borg. Captain Picard was in fact what was his name? Something of Borg. What was it? Captain Picard was assimilated by the Borg. Locutus, that's right. Captain Picard was Locutus of Borg. He got assimilated by the Borg. And actually, what happened was that he got rescued eventually, but he got assimilated by the Borg. And Seven of Nine also used to be a Borg, right? And actually, in one episode of Voyager, Janeway, Tuvok, Janeway, Tuvok, and Torres all got assimilated by the Borg, except they had a little medical thing in their brain to stop them getting assimilated. There's an episode of Voyager where Janeway, Tuvok, and Torres all got assimilated by the Borg, and they'd be immune to the virus because they'd already been assimilated. They'd be immune to the virus, and so was Seven of Nine, and so would Captain Picard. So imagine, like, the whole human race gets assimilated by the Borg, right? The whole human race starts to get assimilated by the Borg, and Admiral Picard, Admiral Janeway, Tuvok, Seven of Nine, and Torres could set up a Borg resistance movement, you know, a special resistance movement to the Borg, because the Borg were assimilating planet Earth with this Borg virus. You get Torres and Tuvok because they were immune to the virus because they already got assimilated, and Janeway and Picard set up Operation Resistance movement, like French Resistance. That'd be a great show, but I'll let you guys have this one. There was another one I had. Another one I had was like, no, actually, Star Trek Phase 2 was done that now. I had to have another idea, you know, like the Adventure of Christopher Pike. But then again, Star Trek Phase 2. So Star Trek Phase 2 has covered that. Around that, Star Trek Phase 2 has done The Last Adventure of Christopher Pike. You know, I had an idea once, you know, like for finishing some song, because like, actually, Star Trek Phase 2 have done the final adventure of Pike. You know what I mean? They did that. They've already done it. Guy, Phase 2 is excellent. They've already done the final adventure of Phase 2. That's done. Great. And I had another idea. Oh, God. Starfleet Academy. You know, like a real life, like with real people. You know, using real teenagers, training, using flight simulators and stuff like that. Do shuttle missions, whatever. Anyway, yeah, no, I think this Star Trek Phoenix is really good. That's going really well. They've done one episode. I didn't one. I didn't. But anyway, no, Star Trek Odyssey, Star Trek Helena are fantastic shows. All right, you're keeping the Federation alive. I hate that new Star Trek movie. Alright? I hate that new Star Trek movie. But I love Star Trek Helena. And I love Star Trek Odyssey. Who needs fucking Hollywood? We got YouTube. Anyway, keep going, guys. And I am you. Hey movie. They have done a wonderful job. This is for the Odyssey and the Helena. Thank you for keeping the future alive. Amen.